The Phoenix Guard, silent protectors of the eternal flame of Asuryan. These mighty warriors are endowed with power through a covenant of magical silence with the Elven Creator God, and benefit from divine protection. Said to always number at 10,000 strong, the Phoenix Guard watch over Asuryan's shrine, located near Ulthuan's center on the Isle of Flame. They are keepers of the secrets of time, past, present, and future. In battle they advance with uncanny silence, wielding their ornate halberds without shouts or cries. But beyond their silence that many attribute to their aura of fear lies the true source of their strength, the raw power of Asuryan, flowing through their bodies and their unshakable faith in the Creator, driving them ever forward, seeing the hidden points upon which victory lies. The Phoenix Guard are an ancient order of elf warriors dedicated to Asuryan, and are perhaps the oldest martial organization among the elves. Some histories put their formation as even before the time of chaos, while others trace their origin to the ascension of Annointed, first and greatest of the Phoenix Kings. The truth, however, most likely lies somewhere in between. In the times before chaos, the elves were a peace-loving race and war was a foreign concept to them. Their only knowledge of battle and violence were from martial sports conducted with ceremonial weapons and armor. Because of this innocence, the Phoenix Guard as we know them now probably did not exist in the same manner as they do today, as powerful guardians gifted with supernatural power. If they did exist at this time, they most likely held a purely ceremonial significance in elven culture. The most plausible truth to their history lies in their connection to Asuryan, and Asuryan to Annointed. Before the rise of chaos, the elves had little use for weapons outside of hunting spears and bows, and the occasional swords that were used for honorary duels. When chaos came to Ulthuan, the elves were unprepared to meet their new foe. They had no military training, and so their resistances were quickly swept aside by the demon hordes. An elf named Annointed had fought fiercely but hopelessly against chaos up until this time, so he sought the help of the gods. But no matter his pleadings or sacrifices, Annointed heard and saw no reprieve. Eventually, the desperate group of resistance led by Annointed was pushed back to the Isle of Flame. He went to the Great Pyramid, the shrine of Asuryan, and offered everything, even his life if only Asuryan would help. His sacrifices and prayers went unanswered, so keeping to his promise, Annointed cast himself into the sacred flame at the shrine's heart. Instead of death, Annointed's great offering was accepted. His body remade in Asuryan's fire, Annointed emerged from the flames with an inner light. Born anew as the first Phoenix King, Annointed was a vessel for the power of the greatest elven god. He slew the leader of the enemy host and led the surviving nearby elves to destroy the Chaos Army. It is from these elves that witnessed Annointed's rebirth into the vessel of Asuryan, who are said to have become the first Phoenix Guard. There is, in my mind, a feasible interpretation of both histories whereby both could be true. That the Phoenix Guard always existed in some form, but that they only truly began as we know them today with the rise of Annointed. It could be that the Shrine of Asuryan was always watched over by dedicated worshippers who served as ceremonial custodians or wardens. These elves then assumed a position of literal guardianship when the shrine came under attack. We are never directly told when or if these elves undertook the magical vow of silence that would later be so synonymous with the Phoenix Guard. But as the first witnesses of Asuryan's power through Annointed's transformation, I see it being the probable outcome. For the current Phoenix Guard, we know little as to how the members of the Sacred Order come to be chosen for their positions. Asuryan is said to guide his children's paths, and some find their way to the Phoenix Guard unexpectedly, as is the case with the current captain of the Phoenix Guard, Caradrian. Caradrian was once an arrogant elf noble. While on the traditional pilgrimage to Asuryan's shrine that all high elf nobles are expected to make, Caradrian snuck into the most holy room of the shrine, called the Chamber of Days. He then became a changed man and took the vows of the Phoenix Guard that same day. We do know that at least some elves are sought out. For these individuals, their destiny is revealed by the sudden appearance of a member of the Order, usually its captain. He came alone, and his forehead bore the glittering rune of Asuryan, but it was in his eyes that Eldain saw the truth of his identity. The warrior's eyes were dark pools of hurt and unasked for wisdom. They were eyes that had seen too much, which had not shied away from the knowledge. Eldain saw a terrible weight of sorrow in those eyes, and understood all too well what that could do to a soul. He saw the same expression every day in the mirror. Though the warrior spoke no words, Eldain knew exactly what was required. These messengers present a token of their authority, a golden phoenix set in an amulet of jade. Without a spoken word, these supplicants are then escorted to the Isle of Flame and into the Shrine of Asuryan, where they are initiated into the Phoenix Guard. Within the temple they are brought to the Chamber of Days, where history's past, present, and future are written in words of fire upon the stone walls. They become bathed in the golden light of the fire which burns at the chamber's center. He felt the flame at the heart of the chamber burn hotter and brighter. A chorus of song issued from the fire, and Eldain closed his eyes as the dead and unborn spoke to him with one voice. The echoes of all the Phoenix Kings of the past, and the voices of those yet to be crowned. He lived the history of an entire land and its people in one bright and shining moment. This knowledge of time's eternal course is not to be shared with others, and so each initiate is bound with a vow of magical silence from which they can never be released. While viewed as a curse by some, this vow is part of the dedication each Phoenix Guard makes to Asuryan, a covenant by which the Creator God's chosen warriors are filled with a portion of his almighty power. That power gifted to them goes beyond their foreknowledge and extends to their incredible martial prowess. Until one has witnessed the Phoenix Guard upon the field of battle, one cannot comprehend the power that they possess. Ranks of highly trained warriors, all utterly silent. Around them the very air shimmers. They are not just the guardians of a temple. They are the chosen warriors of a mighty elven god. No spoken word commands them, yet each knows his place within the battle plan. They do not balk before even the vilest horrors of the world. It is said that each knows the moment he will die, and I believe it, for they face the maelstrom of battle with unflinching resolve. Who but one, utterly convinced of survival or demise, could face a hail of arrows, or a charge from an unspeakable monster without flinching? The horrors and the wonders they must have seen, these Phoenix Guard. How I wish they would only speak of it to mortals not gifted with such foresight. As part of their gifted knowledge of the future, each warrior of the Phoenix Guard knows his appointed hour of death. None seek to obstruct that moment. They fight on towards victory without fear or delay. Phoenix Guard exude an aura of fear, terrifying nearby foes. The air around a regiment of Phoenix Guard is said to hum with the godly might of Asuryan, and their eyes blaze with fiery intensity. The most powerful of the Phoenix Guard are known as Anointed of Asuryan. These sages have served for hundreds of years in Asuryan's service, and even more so have immersed themselves in his teachings. Much of their existence is spent within the Chamber of Days, studying the lessons of past and future. On the rarer occasions when they do leave Asuryan's shrine, hope is kindled by their mere presence. The doubts and fears of their allies disappear like mist on the wind. Much like regular Phoenix Guard, the Anointed of Asuryan are protected by their patron god's might. Uniquely, however, the Anointed are so saturated in Asuryan's power that it extends to those allies immediately surrounding them. Blows that should prove fatal are turned aside at the last moment. Enemy weapons shatter on contact, and dark sorcery collapses in on itself. The Phoenix Guard are privy to great and small events of the future. Beyond their most well-known duty of guarding Asuryan's shrine, they at times take up other responsibilities. The most well-known of these is at the election of a new Phoenix King. It is the role of the Phoenix Guard to accompany the newly chosen candidate for the Phoenix throne and escort him to Asuryan's shrine. It is here where they attend the candidate as he passes through the eternal flame and is reborn as the new Phoenix King. The lesser note of their responsibilities come during the periods assigned to the rites and worship of Asuryan. At these times, the Phoenix Guard attend to the Phoenix King, taking over the role as the King's bodyguards, normally undertaken by the White Lions. While they are silent protectors, the Phoenix Guard appear to communicate using a form of sign language. This language is most likely unknown to any outsiders of their brotherhood, as they have only been observed to communicate with outsiders through basic body language and gestures. As the chosen warriors of Asuryan and guardians of his shrine, the Phoenix Guard are beyond the rule of nobles and princes. Only the Phoenix King, as the vessel of Asuryan's will, can command them to battle. When ordered into battle, they often act and are seen as the king's personal emissaries. This is a sign that even though the Phoenix King himself cannot be present at the battle, it is never far from his thoughts. Sometimes, however, they will appear unbidden and without warning. Most commonly this happens when a Phoenix King dies, as they will carry the Phoenix King's body to his final resting place. Other times they will show up unexpectedly to sway a battle to victory. They march in ornate heavy armor forged from Ithlamar, and wield ornate magical halberds that can cleave a foe from head to toe. Clasped to the armor of every Phoenix Guard is a beautiful cloak of finest quality. Such cloaks bear the sacred icons of Asuryan, the flame and the phoenix. When the legions of the Phoenix Guard do march to war, they do so as the greatest combatants the elves have to offer, chosen warriors of the greatest elven god. Hey everyone, I'm Warhammer, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more Warhammer lore content. I'm Warhammer, and have a great day, guys.